Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. We want to welcome all of you to SKTV. Um, Welcome to the show. Today is March 12th, 2022. Want to welcome each and every one of you to the show. Welcome to SKTV. Um, Today is a good day to be alive. So we are grateful to God to be alive today. Um, Thank you for tuning in. We want to greet every one of you, wherever you are, wherever you're watching us from, or follow us from Asia, from Liberia, from Europe, from the Americas. We say welcome to the show today. Um, we are glad to be back. It's been a long week with very tight and busy schedule, so we had to take some time off. But we are back um, to have the necessary conversation, the national conversations that we need to have. We are back here to have it. As always, we want to greet all of you. Um, today, I don't know why I'm laughing or smiling too much, but there seems to be a lot going on in the country. A lot of things going on at once, and we have to discuss some of these things. We have to have these conversations, and we cannot shy away from them. We enjoyed our time off or being away from, the usual talking every day, coming on Facebook and talking. Feels good. Taking a leave of absence, even though we didn't want to, but we had to. We had to step back a little bit. But overall, it's a pleasure being back. To be honest, it's an honor. We are here to have the national conversation. Um, when we started showing you who's the a lot of boys are JMB. Okay, no problem. It's a good thing. It is a good thing. But yes, in all honesty, we are here to have national conversations. We have a lot of things to talk about. Some of them we might not finish today. Most definitely, we'll roll it out to tomorrow because some of these conversations will need time to, dive into and also provide you an opportunity. Today, provide you an opportunity to contribute. Today, we are going to be looking at, if Alexander B. Cummings, which is the political leader of the ANC, if he is being targeted, we're going to look at it. We're going to look at trends and pattern and whatever now. And Mr. Kane and Till at some point will be joining us here momentarily for us to have this conversation. We'll also move a little further to consider whether the ongoing trial, and that will be to you, the public, VP Boakai, former VP Boakai, and Senator John B. Kanga Lawrence, should they take the witness stand? We'd really like to hear from you and as to why or why not they shouldn't. We'd also, which is the topic for the day, who's poised to win the 2023 presidential election or presidency? Who's poised to win it? So we're getting here for a very serious conversation. It will not be easy. And then the last thing we want to consider for this week, which I think has been trending as part of the trending conversation, we could roll it out to next week, which is tomorrow, the start of next week. What's going on with Edwin Snow and in ECOWAS? Most recently, we've heard, we've read, we've seen publication about Edwin Snow in ECOWAS. Maybe after 1 year and change when he was elected as a senator, didn't the CDC let government know that he was a senator, and that seat should have been vacant from the day he became senator to send a representative there from the lower house. Why did they keep him there that long? And why, out of a sudden, they want Edwin Snow out? What's going on? So a lot to talk about today. I want you to help us share the show. Let's share the show. Let's invite other people. Many of you have been reaching out. We want to say thank you. Last night I saw Mr. Kane. I was with him for a couple of minutes, and he looks much better. He feels much better. Remember I told you he had toothache. He feels much better. We're able to, chit chat, have some conversations here and there. I was also able to chit chat with Telvi, even though yesterday we couldn't talk. She was busy all day. Tried reaching her 1 or 2 times. I couldn't get a hold of her, but she's back. We spoke sometime this morning, she and I. I know she traveled. She's out of town, but she said she would do her best to, show her face. She misses you guys as well. As all of you guys who got crushed on her, missing her too. All of the guys who get crushed on Tel. I told you, I said, your family small thing. I can run your D. You're there, y'all be jacking. I can run your D. I can talk for you. I can put talk for you. Me, I can do it. So long you drop me something, so long you fix me, we're good. I can talk for you. I can make a case for you. Yeah, I can serve as your counselor at law, attorney at law, whatever you want to turn me as. But seriously, on a serious note, all of you who got crushed on top, all the men, okay, you tell me, I'll talk for you. Tell them again, I'll talk for you. I will talk for you, the person who get the highest bidder or shooter. Like, there, you fall down inside, I will talk for you. And you're not allowed to go to get the other one. You're just coming to me directly. Don't go to Sekou because we're not sharing our other money. So, yes, we're encouraging you to please share the show. We will be starting here momentarily. But before we start, we'll recognize 1 or 2 people before we share the show. Then when we come back, we will recognize other people and then get into the show. So today, we're not in no rush. We're chilling. We don't have thousands and thousands of followers, but at least we're able to do what is right. And we're not. I can tell you for a fact that we're not compromised. I can tell you that 100%. We're not compromised. Nope, no way. And I can say this for a fact on here that there is no way, shape, or form we can be or will be compromised. So, as compared to other people, I ain't want to call these. I ain't want to go there. You see nothing in 2023 coming, you will see real draft face. All your boys who now collect money, all your favorite touch your hoes there, your big boys in the town. You will see them coming out. The big boys will come out. You relax. They come out here. They just give me your teasers. They come out. The big boys ain't coming out. They're coming out. The big boys are coming out. They will come. You will see 2023 approaching. As we get closer to 2023, they will start giving you hints, and they will start becoming even brave to let you know why you should support this failed, incompetent, corrupt, inept government. They will tell the same people who told you a few months ago that the government was corrupt. The same people will come out to you and tell you tomorrow. What? You watch. You just watch. You watch a show. They show that we're watching a movie, a B movie that we're watching called Liberia. You will be shocked. But sadly, the sad part about it, some of you are already brainwashed and you are shameless as the people that you follow and the people that you support. So it will not mean nothing to you. You are already sold out anyways. So for now you talking to, now some of you we're talking to the well-meaning Liberian people who are level-headed, who cannot be bought, who cannot be brainwashed. They have their own. We're not talking about y'all who passing around from platform to platform, regurgitating what your hero there and your CEO there, other funny people then talking. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about serious-minded people who want change, who can read through the line, who see the fact, and they are able to state it. I'm talking about people who can go gossip behind people. I'm talking about people who you can be friendly with the person, you tell the person what it is. Y'all watch and see. Y'all just watch all that thing and what they're doing. It's about to get very, very serious. You're watching, see. Shamelessly, these guys will come out. They will come out and tell you their position, and they will stick with it, and they will try to convince you. Some of you are already convinced anyways because you don't stand for nothing. So we already know some of you. When we see your passing, so we can just see through your. So for your you're finished signing your life away. So no problem. But let's recognize Chroma. Thank you for being on the show, Chroma. James, thank you for being on the show. Tio King, James Zier, Tio King, thank you for being on the show. Tapla Popo, thanks for being on the show. Masa Kona, thank you for being on the show. Sorry if I butcher your name. Alex Diso, thank you for being on the show. Farzan Ibrahim Wabak, thank you for being on the show. Vamandi Donzo, thank you for being on the show. Well, once we come out from the musical break, where we are going to be finding friends. I even know who my own friends are. I know who political thing. All my friends not drop me. While pass on the candidate and they not drop me. So my childhood friend all the take attitude against acting like girls. They can speak to me. I'll be fine. It just started. If nothing said we'll fall in line, wasting time. Well, let's try to look for a friend. We'll look for new friends here. You know what? We'll play that find a friend. Let's play our boy Takunje, because I love what Takunje states, And this Takunje song, it will not just be restricted to CDC-led government. When the next government comes, regardless of who it is, we'll play this song. We'll play this song again. As long as you're not doing the right thing for Lavrampo, we'll play this song. So let's get to Takunje Uno copyright to this song playing. Let's get to it. Once we get back, we'll recognize one or two people and start the show. Now, if you want to be recognized, you have to write, because we wouldn't be able to tell if you are here or not. So thank you.
My people, where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Whip your hands. Come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta whip us more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrates us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that's why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not to corrupt. I said no one to trust. My people don't want to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the borough. We tire with the promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw it frustrate us. So why can you lie? Why can you steal? Why can you allow the citizens to breathe? You see, we just tell you that why we both tell you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the borough.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you know on the beat, I be a loca. So mora, you post your new car on Facebook. But I so la la, you working better. Bluffing and acting jealous, say you photo. My advice for you, in my way, I got to confess. Confession. You gotta confess. You must stop the impression. Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing. Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing.
It's never a beat. Another man trash is another man treasure. Another man fool is another man poison. Got your code, according to your measurement. Got your code, according to your measurement. The player ain't garish, and they play booty. Just because so impression. Impression, fake impression. Impression, yeah. You don't even know my story. Or you want to share my glory, oh yeah. Everywhere you my way, oh, Zangare. Everywhere you my way, oh, Zangare. Every touch you my way, oh.
Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing. Enjoyment, got your blessing. Enjoyment, no more stressing. Jeje, the hammer you driving a thing to keke. This a ballin'. The thing that we talking, they must stay right here. Stop spoiling my me. I'm living my life, oh. See, I'm living my life, oh. David pay you, hey, oh, hey, oh. David hold you, hey, oh, hey, oh. David hate you, hey, oh, hey, oh. David pay you, hey, oh. my story. Enjoyment, enjoyment.
Oh my God, you're cute.
Enjoyment.
Well, I'm gonna bounce on y'all with dancing again. That small dancing I was doing in the back. Unfortunately, the camera couldn't turn around, but I was dancing. And that small dancing, I bounce on y'all with real dancing. You know that y'all dancing. I see y'all getting yourself hot and a few days shaking. Y'all be sweating when y'all go to to event. I'm talking about real classic dancing. I bounce on your way in the back. It was not easy. The first music, I was dancing there. I turned around in the second music. I bounce on y'all with beatboard dancing too. I was doing the back. Yeah, but let's recognize one or two people before we get into the show. We've already started this, so let's. I think we stopped on the name Vamandi, so let's get to recognize one or two more people. Thomas Kura phone is there, but SKTV numbers can grow. It can grow because we're not channel viewers. We don't want channel go into la brand open. It can grow because we get our credit card on deck where you can be pushing. When you push it, then you buy 4,000 viewers or you buy 3,500 viewers, then 500 watching, and then you increase it. That's not what we're doing here. So carry that fake life somewhere else. We're not about that life. Bill Carson, welcome to the show. Isaac Talker, welcome to the show. Tio, my man, we need to talk, brother. Yeah, my boy Tio, we need to talk. My boy Tio from all the way Canada. We need to talk, my man. We need to talk after the show today. I know you're probably less busy, but I'll hit you up. I'll definitely hit you up, my man. We need to talk. I saw we'll be in Canada very soon, so we need to, we need to catch up. You and I. We need to definitely catch up. Thomas Awaji, welcome to the show. I see Thomas Awaji inviting a man, Jay Rennie. Thomas Lee, our boy, Jay Rennie, man. Martin Wema Brown, welcome to the show. Well, we like to start off the show. There are a couple of people on here that have not written, but I think I do see them in the live feed. I'm not going to identify you if you don't write, unless you want to be identified, because maybe you're here for security reasons or your own privacy, so you might not want to be recognized. So we'll respect your privacy. But like I said earlier on, at some point here, Sekou and Chalvina Ko should be joining us momentarily. Today, we want to have a sober, reflective conversation. And as you can see the headline, the topic, who's poised to win the 2023 elections? Even though it's the third or fourth talking point here for today, but we want to ensure that, because it's the headline, we squeeze it in really quick, even if we don't address it in details, because we might roll it over to tomorrow. Tomorrow, you can guarantee that we'll have one or two strange faces on here as well to talk about some of these things, because we don't want it to be skewed for it to seem like it's skewed just from SKTV. We want other people from outside as well to partake into the conversation. Other people that are not members of SKTV, and see how best we can have a conversation. But for today, we want to zoom in on who's poised to win. Somebody said, and I'm reading the live feed as well. Somebody said, so when will you guys discussing Musa's MOU? Well, the day Musa then released the MOU, then we'll discuss it. But in as much as we don't know what in the MOU, what's there to discuss? We come here, just be speculating and say this in the MOU, that in the MOU. It's a waste of time. Let's discuss the ones that are available, the information that we have. When Musa ability is serious for choo, and the ANC or Mr. Alexander Cummings is serious for choo, let them make the MOU available to the public, and we'll discuss it. No problem with that. We'll discuss it. And that's what we're looking forward to discuss the MOU. But if we don't have it, how can we discuss it now? So we just come on and say, oh, Musa Belede said they get MOU. Okay, what's in there? That's what we need to talk about. Somebody One of Costa agent here is Steve. Say, Mr. Noe or Steve. Welcome to the show. Costa Seychelles, welcome. So, but let's get to serious issue. No more time to play around joke. Who's poised to win the next election? So the first thing is, one of the things we've tried to establish here is to give the meaning of words and keep it in context. So poised is an adjective, and adjectives are normally in English, for someone who don't know English too well, adjectives are used to describe. So let's take, for example, if I say this person is a criminal, that means they've done something, that warrant being called criminal, or they've been charged or so forth from a legal standpoint. So basically, when you use descriptive words or adjectives, they're used to describe a certain behavioral actions or so forth. So when we ask the question, who's poised to win the 2023 presidency in Liberia, it pretty much means who's ready, who's ready, who's prepared, who's willing, and so forth. And there are a lot of names that have been thrown out. Somebody will say Tiawan Gonglo, who supports Tiawan Gonglo. Somebody who supports Elizana Comis will say Elizana Comis. Someone who supports Joseph Yoma Boakai would say Joseph Yoma Boakai. Someone who supports President George Weah would say, President George Weah. We can say all of this, but then let's look at these four key players really quick and zoom in terms of preparation. And for the sake of this argument, we want to start with those who have been in politics, those who have been around. So we started with President George Weah. So we're starting with President George Weah leading up to 2023. That's important. So who's poised to win the next election? If President George Weah, someone claims is poised to win the next election, then there are several questions that we should be asking, because what are his actions? What is he doing to prepare himself to get ready to win the next election? So does using the courts to go after other political rivals or other political actors prepares him to become the next president or winning the presidential election? I know we've heard it saying, oh, incumbent in Africa is hard to win. Incumbent in Africa is hard to win. Well, incumbents in Africa have been won. They've been beaten before. So in as much as we can say they're hard to win, we can also say it is possible that they will be beaten, especially if they don't do the right thing to position themselves to be re-elected. So thus, the issue of the LEC, not having electricity in the country, the basic necessity, up to the point where ECOWAS people came in. It's not that they say we're not making anything out against the government. We don't hate the president. We don't hate the government. But these are public knowledge facts. Does the ECOWAS getting stuck in an elevator, ECOWAS representative getting stuck in an elevator because of lack of electricity, does that show that he's ready to lead the country? Just a lot of things that are piling up. Most recently, Air France leaving the country. And let me, sometimes when we talk some of these things, it's very okay for us to go to some facts, even though the transport minister tried to brush it off and create some kind of lies as to why Air France is leaving, and and all of that. That is not the truth. Both the president and some of his cabinet ministers, they've dwelled in this lie that have led to nothing, have led them to nowhere. And not only that, it's dangerous for our country, it's also risky. It's very concerning, to be honest. It's risky, it's dangerous, it's very concerning for our country. Now, per the publication of ECOWAS, of Air France, they are telling us that they're leaving because of the economy. So that means business is not going as bad, in other words. The people are making that business they're making, they're not friendship they own. They're not friendship they own. Basically, economic reasons is making them to leave. They're operating in other countries though, our neighbors. They're operating there. But they're leaving in April. Does that put the president, making poised to win the next election? You can think about it, Georgia. The rise of crimes in the country, such as rape, sexual assaults, and domestic violence. You bring the justice minister, who is a woman, she comes to the Senate. She doesn't even know her own law, the law that governs her, the policy, the law that governs her. She does not know it. So, where are we headed now? She comes there and just makes everything looks confusing. Everything just looks confusing. Where are we headed with this? And you say President George Weah will win the next election. Okay. You got a huge infight within the CDC, which is at a disadvantage. It hasn't spilled out yet. I will urge them to spill it out soon, because the sooner they spill it out, the better it will be for them. Because come 2023, if it spill out closer to 2023, that bad blood in that division will be there, which will eventually make them to lose. As evidenced by that, if you look at the election, the senatorial election, the Bass senatorial election in 2020, part of the reason the CDC could not have a consolidated vote was because there was an infight between them. There was an infight. Jimama Wolokoli thought she, has done so much for the party. Thomas Fala was already in the House of Representatives. Why bring him to the Senate? So to give other people a chance, and there were other CDC candidates too that wanted to run, that wanted that opportunity to run. They thought the party would have rallied around them. Rather, the party chose to rally around Thomas Fala, which they felt disenchanted and so forth. And that led to division within the party. We have to think about these things. These are logical conclusions and facts. The direction the country is in right now is terrible, it's horrible. The security system is bad. Things are hard, prices are skyrocketing. Samuel Tuet comes, he lies, spills gibberish, and makes people suffering look like it's talking about an intellectual conversation that they're having. Not talking about Nathaniel McGill, who comes, he doesn't know what he's doing. He can't even pronounce president anyways. So for him, it's just a big screwed up, big mess. He's a messy mess. Comes around, brings a bunch of foolishness to the table. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And unconfirmed reports are reaching us that even Joy Howard Taylor, who brings on the MPP, who made them to win, as we all know from the public, she's been sidelined. That one is up to her. When she get her pay, then she fall in line again. So this is just a messy mess, a beautiful nonsense that we're in with this government. Think about it, and you tell me that the Liberian people will go and vote for the CDC? Well, I can say this for a fact, that in as much that the CDC thought maybe infiltrating the opposition would automatically lead to them winning, that is not truth. That is not truth, because they themselves have not done their homework to be able to be given a second chance, which I think is the most important thing. So the CDC, in my own view, is not poised to win the next election because they've done everything else than the right thing. So let's move down the line to Jose Yuma Boakai, which I am hearing some shameless, bold-faced, emboldening some Unity Party partisans. Some, I call them, want to be Joseph Boakai's supporter temporarily because either there are two groups. There are one group of Joseph Yuma Boakai new supporters that have been recruited from the diaspora, especially, not on the ground from the diaspora, with a hope that they would ride on Joseph Yuma Boakai to get job. Some of the young people, and y'all know them. We don't know calling them, y'all know them. The West Coast, Neta, and pass around, just talk bunch of things that don't make any sense. But they say it makes sense. That's fine. They're not in touch with reality. They pass around and suck up, build alliances with people that they know for sure that they cannot stand. They pass around and try to act like they want to convince people that automatically Joseph Boakai has changed and Joseph Boakai will be this president and Joseph Boakai will be this one. That is not truth. That is not truth. That is not truth. They themselves are not in touch with reality. They've encouraged Joseph Yuma Boakai to leave the CPP illegally. Let me put it that way. Illegally. And they made all the noise Joseph Boakai was going to leave the CPP and they're going to form this new coalition or whatever it is. And Joseph Boakai was going to do this, Joseph Boakai was going to do that. First of all, Joseph Boakai's entire career can be summarized in one word: failure. His entire political career can be summarized in one word, which is failure. There is nothing he has worked on or in that you can point to today as a legacy that is benefiting Liberia. Everything he touched has failed. It either died naturally or it fails. Go check the record again. These are public records. These are fact. What are from the LPNC that they boast about? He worked with LPNC. He did it. Where's the LPNC today? Look at the agriculture sector, still struggling. But not only that, the second group of young supporters or people, older people as well, that have been recruited from the diaspora, from the Joseph Boakai side, that think that he's poised to win the next election, are the groups who are government agents that are planted to create division, such as, and one of the lead head is Henry Costa, purporting to want to be Joseph Boakai supporter or supporting Joseph Boakai. and other political leaders and actors as well who have lost relevance. They're hanging on the thread. And they come around on fake memes that we don't know that we have identified them. Let me tell you something. You're the fake memes and fake actors who come and write and say things, that are very funny or interesting. You're fake. All your life you've been fake. You'll be fake till you die. That's just what it is. If you're a woman enough or you're a man enough, then you show up in your real name and make your point so you can be respected by people. But let's move forward to these different actors that they've planted. They've planted them more like seeds. They have the different cells. They have the different chat rooms that they're planted in. According to them, they will rely on propaganda. Pay attention because it's critically important for you to understand this. They would rely on propaganda in order to walk their way through to the presidency. They're poised to win the presidency based on propaganda. They focus on everybody else than focusing on themselves. As evidenced by that, most recently you see them pushing, let's discuss Musa Belete and Cummins. Well, they attempted bringing out Tiawan Gonglo. It fell flat to the face. They're going nowhere. Remember this word I said. Joseph Yuma Boakai's entire leadership can be summarized in one word: failure. And the evidence are there. So you have these two different groups, but then you also have a very minute group, handful of people in Liberia who think in their head that 5 years ago, Joseph Yuma Braga was an incumbent coming from the government. He had some resources at his disposal to win the election, yet he could not even win the election. He was flogged twice. But in the last flogging that he got, it was so pathetic that as an incumbent, out of 15 counties, he won one. And even in his winning of that one, if you look at the numbers, he was challenged in that winning. So he was flogged bigly, like you were Donald Trump boys. So that tells me, it tells me that he is not poised to winning. But let's put all of that aside. Let's bring currently, what is he doing to make him to want to be poised to winning, or to say he's winning? You can't say we should rely on the mistakes of the government. It's just not practically possible. You can't say we can rely on the mistakes of President George Weah and CDC as they're doing to bring Joseph Yuma Braga in, when Joseph Yuma Braga himself is doing nothing. Not only that, I've told you before on here, and I stand by that, of all of the elections that I've seen or I've witnessed or I've read about or I've watched, it requires money. All of the people so far, whether that's Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, what he name, Penanda Yue, who, according to them, they've left the CBP illegally. In their head, they've left. To their supporter, they've left. That's fine. But it doesn't still take away the legality of this conversation. You can leave in your head, you can leave, that's your right. But the legal part still stands. But all of these guys, they're broke. They will not, even if they have money, they will not put their money there. It's not possible. And elections are very expensive. Plus, Joseph Yuma Braga has a lot of things working against him. Whether that age, whether that health, whether even being able to maintain his base in Lofa. Which if we were to do a poll on election today, more likely so, he would not be able to win Lofa. I stand by what I'm saying. We're not talking here because we hate anybody or because we like one person over this other person. We must stick with the facts and the issues because these things matter. They make the difference. If Joseph Yuma Braga was healthier, had the resources, and was in the trenches, maybe reconnecting, maybe pushing his agenda, getting things going, yes, then you could say, yes, yes, he's poised to winning. But don't be fooled. Don't let them fool you with that propaganda that Joseph Yuma Braga 400,000 or 1 million or 500,000 votes. Don't be fooled. Please don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. These are all talking points that they regurgitate to try to stick in your head. That he's the best candidate, he's this, he's that. No, that's not truth. That is not true. That is not truth. I'm being very honest with you, that is not truth. This is what they discuss. These are the messages they decide to push. These are the agendas they decide to push on a daily basis. To not only fool you, confuse you. Since they left the CPP illegally, I will keep on using that word, it's critically important as attached to it. Since they left the CPP illegally, since Joseph Yuma Braga took over the CPP and failed as a leader, since that time, I want you to tell me who he has been able to attract. No, he has not. I didn't make this up. This is not a makeup. This is not a, oh, you hate this man, or you hate that person, or you don't like this guy. No. These are facts. Instead of them focusing on attracting other people, other leaders, other political parties, they're bouncing all around the place. Oh, the other personality, wasting their time instead of making the cases for themselves. Instead of going in the trenches, they're bouncing around. They're doing everything else but recruiting and making a case. and you can mark this. Everywhere they go, they'll bounce on them. They will not accept them. Anywhere they go to go make any kind of deal, they say they want to collaborate, it will not work. And the mayor, and the last year that they were going to leave and clamorously they were going to create this big correlation are coming up, and the correlation will be called this, and the correlation will be called that. When was the last time you ever heard them call, even on meeting, to say these guys are not only shameless, they're emboldened. They pass draft phase. When was the last time? Think about it. Think about it. When was the last time you seen Joseph Yuma even make any kind of move? When? Okay, we'll leave Joseph Yuma as that. Because the people saying I hate the pape, and I don't hate the pape. So the one I said about CDC here too, I hate it. We come to Tiawan Konglo. I will leave my boy what he need. I will leave my boy out what his name, Dr. Kasser. You know, Dr. Kasser is my boy. I think he just has missed priorities, but he's my boy. I think he's not focused because he's focusing on his plane, his helicopter landing in the country more than, national issues. So I'm not sure if they've granted him permission so far. I'm not sure if they've granted him permission so far for a helicopter to land, but we hope and pray that, finally the helicopter will land so that maybe it can help him campaign. So until he can get his priorities right, as to leaving the helicopter issue and focusing on national issue for now, we'll leave our boy that I said, we'll leave him alone. Let him be doing anything. Let him be dressing that heat. I hope he doesn't, be dressing that heat with, Texas pimp coat suits and stuff like that. I'm not sure how he does it, but in all honesty, kudos to him. To be very honest, kudos to him and my respect to him for that, because I know I would not be in that heat just that kind of way. That's not going to happen. To even wear long sleeve when I'm in like brother at that wall. So let's move forward. Let's move forward to Tiawan Konglo. Let's move forward to Tiawan Konglo. Tiawan Konglo is not necessarily a bad candidate. And the reason I'm saying this is because he has a good record. He has a good reputation. He's a household name, as we'll say in Liberia. He's recognized, he's known, and so forth. But there are two things that put him at a disadvantage. First of all, money. Resources. The resources is one of the bigger barriers that put him at a disadvantage today. Second of all, the timing of his launching of his presidential bid is a little concerning. Elections, timing is very important. Timing is very, very important for elections. You must watch the timing instead of the timing. I think these two things are a huge disadvantage to Tiawan Konglo. Very huge. And I think that's where he stands at a disadvantage. And that's why some things might not work in his favor this time around, 2023. Now, I don't know about 2029, but these are things that are working to his disadvantage. Let's move forward to the last person on the list, because he has not served in any political office in Liberia, but he is a political presidential aspirant for the second time. Elizana Cummings. Let's scrutinize Alexander Cummings and evaluate him. The first big mistake Alexander Cummings made was to join the CPP. That was a big dent. If he had a new car, hold on 1 second, guys.
You don't even know my story. You don't even know your story, oh yeah. Boy, you know, on the beat, I be a loca. So moral. You post a new car on Facebook.
Sorry for the interruption. I am very sorry. I had to make sure that, I take care of something really quick. So I did, but we are back. Thank you for your patience and your tolerance. So let's move forward. Mr. Alexander Cummings, it's like you had a brand new car and everybody praising the car. Even people who don't like the car, even people who wouldn't admit openly that the car is a very good car. The car has potential and the car is very beautiful. You take the car and you drove the car somewhere and deliberately put a dent in our car. That is a problem. That is a problem. That means you gave people who were even skeptical of you from day one. In America, was it people who were tripping from day one? You gave them more reason to be skeptical and to trip on you. Alexander Cummings did that. I think that was a costly, huge mistake in calculation. And I challenge any ANCO to come here and kind of argue this out, or can make any kind of flimsy excuse or try to justify it. That move was wrong yesterday. It is wrong today. It will be wrong tomorrow. Point blank and period. These are facts. They're open facts all over the place. They're open facts all over the place. They're not hidden secret. They're not something that behind a horse. These are facts. These are facts. Big mistakes. But not only that, Mr. Alexander Cummings comes to the Liberian politics with huge resources. When this whole thing started, Mr. Alexander Cummings had opportunity to walk away. He had options to walk away. He and the ANC decided that it would stick on with this thing and keep on. When the first shot was thrown at him by members in the CPP, that should have been an awakening call or a wake-up call. After the 2020 senatorial election, he should have left. No, he stopped there. Sticking there alone, he was never proactive. Two of the biggest problems I'm seeing with Mr. Alexander Cummings and the ANC, you are in politics. They have the resources. They seem to have made some connections, but they're not building up on these connections. They're not. They have a huge communication problem, a very huge communication problem for the ANC. Very, very huge communication problem. From the top to the bottom, they have a huge communication problem. When you criticize Alexander Cummings, they take it personal, they have a problem with it, but I want your business. I don't care about that. You my friend in the ANC, just as I've told United Party people. You my friend in the United Party, just as I've told CDCians. You my friend in CDC. When your political leader screw up, I will call all your political leader. It doesn't matter to me. We're not me and we're not on that thing. I don't care how close we can be. I don't care how close we can be. It doesn't matter to me. And I don't think it matters to SKTV either. But because I'm on the show right now, I'm definitely going to speak on behalf of me and take a position on this issue. Huge communication problem. Very huge. They're not proactive at all. They're so much reactive. So reactive. I remember one of the recommendations that Telvi gave on this show was go ahead and sue Banana UA. They never listen. Politics are not church, my friends. And you can't put sentiments in politics. Most of the people in ANC, too much sentiments. They're not even, look, most of the people who are in ANC, who want to help, who claim they want to help Alexander Cummings, they're not focused. They're not focused. They're not focused. Oh, they're not focused. They lack strategy. They lack planning. Then the communication, it just made the communication worse and bad off. They've developed this mentality of you either got to be part of the party or you got to fall in line. And let me say this to all of you. Not everybody will fall in line. Not everybody will be part of the party. People will criticize the party. To the point that even people that show some semblance of wanting to like them, they don't even gravitate towards the people. They want to go to where the popular people are, where the other group are. Listen, this is about the grassroots. This is about creating your own thing, being strategic, being proactive. That's what it should be about. The rest will fall in place. The same way when some of us told Alexander Cummings, don't join this thing. Create your own thing. Grassroots movement. Forget about these guys. They failed. They will fall in line later on to support you. Listen, you can't dodge it. Once you are doing what is right, as time goes by, they will fall in line. They have the resources. So far, they've proven that they have the resources. But they've been very ineffective in their communication. They don't keep up. They don't tell you things. They don't inform you about things. So when I see some sick-minded people who don't understand the issue, or maybe they're limited, come here and say, oh, that ANC people, that ANC station, that they want. If we're ANC station for you think some of the information that your propagandists can be pushing around, you think we wouldn't have had those information from the get-go to be able to disseminate those information? You think the breaking news that are becoming will not be aware of it? You really think so? You really think so? Go think twice. Go think twice. So yes, the second thing that is working to their disadvantage is, apart from the connection, apart from the communication, being able to bridge, to make that connection. I think that's the biggest hurdle they have, to make that connection with the ordinary people. Let me say this. I don't think it's Alexander Cummings though. Let me be very honest. I don't think it's Alexander Cummings. I don't think it's Alexander Cummings. Because even when you talk to him or when you meet him in person, he's very down to earth. He's very cool. He's laid back. He's humble. Even with all of his achievement, he's still humble. And that's a good quality of a leader. But I think some of his supporters and some of the leadership, some of the people he has in leadership around him, they've created this bureaucracy, this sense of entitlement too as well. Pride. And that is a big, big problem. You are running to be, your candidate is running to be a president of the country. It's okay for you to loosen up. What are you protecting? What's there to protect? You want this man to be out there anyways. That's what should be done. That's what should be done. You want him to be up there. It's okay for him to be vulnerable. It's okay for people to criticize him. It's okay for people to disagree with y'all and criticize the ANC. It's okay. There is nothing wrong with it. That alone can be a learning moment for people to come around. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people who are hell-bent on using criticism to maybe destroy or to do this or whatever it is. Truth. Don't get me wrong. It's also okay. Because that's politics. Not everybody will like you. Not everybody will support you. Even in normal life, everybody does not like you. Everybody does not support you. But your ability to open up your tent. You know, I had a conversation with somebody this week. And the person told me, my man, the person said, brother, there were a couple of us that really liked Mr. Cummins. And we decided to come around. And the person mentioned a couple of names that prevented them to come around. And if those group of people had come around by now, it would be an added advantage. It would. It would. I'm being very honest. It would be an added advantage. By now, it would be an added advantage. It's just like someone who been playing someone who know about football, who've been playing football before. When you see a promising player, even though they don't know that player, they don't know him or her well, but you see potential in that player, and you buy that player for a very cheap price because most people are not paying attention, and you bring that player on board, and that player starts to become effective. It's a plus for you. It's a win-win. It's a gain for you. I think that's what the ANC should be doing or should have done. Both from the diaspora and so forth. Their communication level, whether they're in the diaspora or whatever, is very poor, very reactive. They react to the propaganda or to the daily messaging. Then they got to come back and either try to correct. No, you can't afford to be in politics and always be put on the defensive. You got to be defending yourself all of the time. Y'all got to get out of that gutter. Be proactive. So that means y'all got to recruit other people. Y'all got to get other people on board. Having an ANC talk or ANC talk show is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But don't be like CDC, who don't see the future. They are myopic. They got certain group of people that they call the ANC, they call the CDC, propaganda, whatever it is in the diaspora. Don't want to know even make any sense anyways. Because all they do there is to suck up and case up to George Weah, CDC, and the rest of them criminals. That's all they do. No message. Nobody's attracted to what they say. Nobody listens to what they say. Besides a bunch of prison worship, but they're falling in place every day. You can't afford to do that. Now, you can have an ANC platform, whatever it is, but you also have to reach out and connect with other platforms because that's where the credibility comes in. You really think people want to go listen to the ANC platform and know that you're only going to talk ANC business there? Like, come on now. So these are strategies that need to be put in place. You got the resources. You got 18 months. You got to move this thing around if you don't want to win the presidency. The same thing goes to every other party. I'm not sure about the Unity Party. Because they're a bunch of broke, confused, shameless people. For them, they're not headed anywhere. That Unity Party, that whole thing is dead. It's dead. Everything you see them doing on the acting is dead. They're not going nowhere. That whole thing where you talk about they're going to collaborate, they're going to do that one. What sense does that make? Think about it. You get someone who better you have been running for election. I don't know how many years in Liberia before someone was even born. He can get 1% vote, and you say you went doing collaboration with that one. It's a waste of your time, your resources, and he's the loudest mouth in the room. So go think about it. He brings nothing to the table, just as a son Costa, who brings nothing to the table. None of them bring anything to the table. Besides noise, lies, propaganda, and confusion. None of them, both of them, they don't bring nothing to the table. They have never won anything in their lives. Both of them. Losers. Losers by nature. And losers in reality. And these are the people you want to collaborate with. You want to use to say, oh, they can make you win. Somebody who has never won anything before, what can they make you to win? What can they make you to win? I challenge your Costa decision. That's why when I see you wasting your time with Costa and the other people and they'll be laughing. You start wasting your time with these funny people there. Who Costa has made to win any election, I challenge you to tell me. Who? Let's forget about Dillon, please. Forget about Dillon. Because Costa never made Dillon to win. That's why he thinks in his head, but that's his right. That's his right. He can think that all he wants. It's okay. Anybody can think anything. Like I'm sitting right now, I think I'm a billionaire. Yeah, that's what I think. Does that mean I'm a billionaire in reality? No. But it's my right to think that way, though. So he can think that he made Dillon the win or so forth. But apart from, let's take out the whole Dillon factor, because all of us directly or indirectly contributed to Dillon's win. Who else has he made to win? Starting from America here. All of the people he supported in America, all of them lost. He's a loser. Bigly he can lose. So he can't make anybody win election. So you start wasting your time. Even the CDC that he's supporting, on not cover the paying him, Natana getting him money. You start wasting your time behind it. They just spend the Labrampo money going for nothing. They're not going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. So yes. So then the question becomes, who's poised to win the next election? Who's poised? And these are the people that we have trending though. Don't get me wrong, 18 months left. It will be practically impossible from the voting record and so forth of the Liberian people to just get somebody from the sky to come and win the election. It's just not feasible. It's not doable. Let's be honest. It's not doable. That's not something that's realistic. Even if somebody were to come from the blue sky in the next 18 months, it will practically be impossible for them to win. So let me tell the Liberian people today, these are the 4 or 5 names we're stuck with. And I know for a fact, I know for sure, ain't no Liberian person, ain't no CDC, or ain't no other opposition, apart from the handful of people that are passing around with making noise. Because I ended drumming and making noise. That Unity Party will come out of power. Ain't none of them coming to come elect Joseph Boakai. Oh no, that is not possible. You're not even waste your time on that one. So the Unity Party practically is out of this calculation. There is no way possible. So I want you to think about the actors and things that we've said while you are making your decisions, because this is where we're going to end up. You will end up with one of these people, like it or not. You will. So now, you have to do cost analysis. You have to think about who's at more risk, like Rambo say, the lesser of two evil. Who has, and some of the surrogate will come up in public and, y'all not saying the truth, y'all not saying the truth. Listen, there's one thing you can't go against nature. You can't go against facts or reality. The reality is they know. That's why you see them passing around most recently, switching the conversation and saying, Alexander Cummings should just go and talk to Boakai, they can face the thing and go as vice president. Well, if you had this thing so much and Boakai was so popular, whatever, why do you need to join other people? Why do you need people to come and join you and be this and be that? Why? And you'll keep it moving. It is what it is. If I were in the Unity Party, if I were supporting the Unity Party, I would not even mention Alexander Cummings. It's like you leave a woman. For those who are gentlemen, you lead a woman, you want a woman against anyone, a woman, you leave her. But whole day you chasing the woman about trying to find out who she loving to, who she talking to, when she goes to when she comes back. What you concern you in that one? Ain't you say you left the CPP? Whatever happened in the CPP shouldn't be your concern. You're leaving your focus on yourselves. But unless maybe you still have interest in the CPP, then you can say it. But to be honest, I don't see any need for the Unity Party even stressing over this. Whether that most ability do they want, and they don't want passing around the propaganda all day. Alexander Cummings should come and make sure he addressed the allegation. Most ability and the MOU, Alexander Cummings should come and make sure he addressed it. He's a press conference. People, they like to make press conference this time. And I'm just sitting and looking and say, why are these guys wasting their time and wasting resources? You should be governing forces. You should be, listen, This is my honest advice to the Unity Party. In as much as I'm not a political party member, I don't associate with any one of the political parties. This is my honest advice. Use your time wisely. You got 18 months. Use your time wisely. Forget about the CPP people. Forget about them. Leave them alone. Y'all move on. Y'all try to use this time to do this and do that. You're trying to do it. You already left the CPP illegally. When I say they can get there, after you again, they'll be testing me. What would they do you again? Listen, y'all leave these people. Y'all move on, guys. Please. Y'all leave them. Y'all move on. What Alexander Cummings decide tomorrow? He want to collaborate with a murderer or rogue or whatever. Let the Liberian people judge them. Y'all focus on your own. Y'all focus on recruiting. Hey, I say y'all want to recruit the best. Y'all so jokers. They ain't got nothing going on. Nothing. No plan. No plan. Let me tell you. That only noise that will be on for the rest of the 18 months. So noise will be making. Just watch and see. So noise. And watch and see that one noise coming up. It will not be small noise. You heard about that? Watch and see the noise that coming up between them. That group that left. Your way. Your way. It will not be easy. You hear them passing around. You'll talk about the MOU. You'll talk about it. Okay, well, you're saying the MOU will talk about it. I'm available to talk about it. Sekou will be available to talk about it. Tel will be available to talk about it. You're bringing the MOU. We've invited Musa Belede here. Last Tuesday, Musa Belede should have been here. This Tuesday, he should have been here. No call, no show. Yes. No call, no show. And you say Musa Belede board the station, Musa Belede do the one, Musa Belede do that one. No call, no show. Because yeah, the your spoon talk where you can go talk bunch of tabata. We're not on that thing. And I know for a fact, nobody can hold my mouth to ask certain questions. I don't care who you are, I will ask you. Because I don't call you, I don't text you, you don't owe me nothing, I don't owe you nothing, I want nothing from you. So at the end of the day, we know what's up. Me and nobody stay up in the nail. Me and nobody on our level, me and no politician stay up in the net to coordinate conversation. No way. No way. No way. No way. Never in my life have I spoken to Musa Belede, have I communicated with him, or so forth. Never, it has never happened. So this is to tell you that we are here for serious business, and we're ready for serious business, and we're inside this thing. We're saying some of these things for you guys to understand what's at stake and what's ahead, for you to start to make your decision. Stop allowing these people to fool you. Stop allowing them to fool you. Stop allowing them to fool you. We'll open the line very soon, and some of you won't call, you'll call. You'll make your input. We'll give you 1 minute to make your point. Respectfully, you can disagree with us. Who's poised to win 2023? Some people say President George. We are okay. And we already lay everybody will be already laid down to you. Exactly their faults, their mistakes. Some of you have claimed that we are bought by Alexander Cummings. I really wish, though, that one of the political leaders or one of the political party would buy SKTV. I really wish so. I really do wish so. I really wish so. I'm saying it to you. This is not spoon talk, where they got a conversation from Nathaniel McGill and in all kind of funny shenanigans, all kind of deal. This is not spoon talk. On SKTV, we don't play like that. Have they made attempts? They have. But who asked them? The stiff resistance at the bottom to the point that even friends that to talk that nonsense and take it from their mouths. Because we're about business, serious business. Because if the country is doing well, all of us will do well. All of us will do well. And that should be the goal for all of us. All of us, I don't care who you are. That should be the goal. Not collecting small cash at the expense of other people. Some of you are still collecting small cash, but you still got to work and do it. So why are you collecting the small money now? If you be collecting 10,000, 5,000 a year from political party and political leaders, then the question becomes, why are you collecting small money? And you still gotta go to work. Why? Like, why? Why be in a pocket of someone? Why? Yeah, it's like you tell me that I ain't pocket, give me talking point. So when I can't say we direct a conversation, anything say all our foreign land. Why? But let's move on to the next question, because I think this is what we all should be doing as Liberians. Many of us claim that we love the country. I don't doubt that you love the country in your head or in your mouth, but your actions must align when you say that. Your actions must align. So if we love this country so much and we want to preserve this country, then what we need to do as Liberians is, it doesn't matter who is there. It doesn't matter who's president or who wants to be president. Let's hold them accountable. Let's just look, even if it is your favorite person on earth, if they do wrong, come and say they do wrong. Call them out. There is nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean that you don't love that person. It doesn't mean that you don't support that person, or you don't want to support them, or you're not going to support them. But going to the extent of putting on your credibility and your integrity online to defend a political leader or a political party, that's messed up. So let's, I think I just got a message from, okay. All right. I just got a message from Siku, but he headed to be on soon. So one of the very first questions today is Mr. Cummings, Alexander Cummings, being targeted, or is he a target? That's important for us to answer. That question is something that we need to answer. And the reason I'm asking this question is not to elevate Mr. Cummings, not to demoralize Mr. Cummings, or to make it seem as though he's better than any other person in life, or he's more Liberian than any other Liberian. But for us to think about, firstly, is he a target? We have to establish that. And to establish that, we have to look into this, not from a partisan standpoint, not that you hate the person or you like this person. We have to look at it from a rational, factual standpoint. From all indications, yes, he seemed to be a target. Even those who don't support Mr. Cummings would agree that he is a target. They will not admit it in public because they think that it might have some political ramification on their political leader or the group that they identify with. Or they think that it might seem as though they're making a case for somebody. But I'm not a Unity Party partisan. But when Bernie Samukai was allowed by the government, which I said from the beginning, the government had all right to stop him until the case was adjudicated. They allowed him to run. When he won, they should have allowed him to take a seat. I'm not a United Party partisan, but because that's the right thing to do. It is the truth. When Costa was chased out of Liberia and was put in a burning bag or put in a cartoon like a bunny wrapped up and sent to Sierra Leone, that night, that day, we all spoke that it was wrong, and it is wrong. I don't care who is done to it. It is wrong today, it is wrong tomorrow, it will be wrong day after tomorrow. and it was wrong yesterday. It doesn't matter. Even in my disagreements, I stick with the facts. Yeah, I disagree with nothing personal. I disagree with how people play tricks in politics to benefit them as opposed to the Liberian people. Yes, I disagree. But it doesn't mean that because he's not a human being, his rights should be violated. It doesn't mean that anybody should take advantage of him. That's not what it means. That shouldn't be done. I don't know Gifty Lama. I don't know the other auditors. But the families were affected. What was done to them was wrong. So yeah, it is wrong. So even to those of you who support other parties, it's okay for you to be human being. When you see wrong and say it is wrong. If this was done to Benenda Ure, I will say it is wrong. Jomli Kanga Lawrence, I will say it is wrong. Darius Dillon is wrong. Musa Belede is wrong. Dr. Kassé, even not allowing him to land his helicopter, in as much as we laugh and joke about it, sometimes, but it is wrong. That's violation of his rights. It's one thing if this person does not meet the criteria, but if they meet the criteria and they've done everything that is required by law, then you let them be. You stop bothering people. So yes, Mr. Cummings has been targeted. He is a target. Now, we can venture into why he's a target, but we must establish the fact that he is a target. When Yeke Koluba, I don't agree with him using invectives, curse words, and so forth. I don't agree with that, to be honest. I think he can make his case without insulting the president or so forth. I think he can do that. He can use adjectives to describe the president's behavior, which I have used, such as I've said the president is criminally minded, as evidenced by him always bringing criminals on board to work for him. Wambadigi, Sereno Sifos, these guys are criminal with records. Approve it. And the Senate is criminally minded because guess what? The Senate also confirmed these guys. But back to the fact that he is targeted. When you get children, babies, were prevented to leave the country, Yeke was targeted. Yeke is being targeted today. Dillon is being targeted today because of some of the position he takes. So it's a problem. It is a problem. When Jemama Wolokoli was removed from her post, we spoke about it and said she was targeted because she refused to give up her quest to run to be a senator. She was targeted. So wrong is wrong. Right is right. I don't care which side it falls on. In this case, Mr. Cummings has been targeted. For what reason is best known to them. He is a target. Now, people will be targeted for different reasons. Now, if we were to keep this conversation from a political standpoint, in a political context, then we could subject that he's been targeted either because they've claimed that people don't know him and nobody will vote for him, and he's a newcomer, and so forth. But yet this newcomer and this person, let him be. If somebody's not a threat, you can't make them target. So I would say he's a threat. In my view, that's why he's been targeted. Or they see potential, so they're targeting him. This government is shameless and disgraceful. I know many of you that support this government sometimes you find it hard in your head. I know. Some of you that just shame doing you because you put so much into it, you made so much beam up that you can't even man up or woman up to come back and say, But some of you, I know many days, you can sit by and say, the other one here will not know how to go defend you. The proper defender there, they're making your way hard. I know what it takes. For some, even though I've never been put in that kind of situation. I got to pass around, somebody enjoying and I go defend them. I've never been put in that position to go defend anybody or to go, no. I will stick with the facts and the issues. But for those of you who do that, to be honest with you, to some extent, I gave you props. I give you kudos for your level of draft face in combination with stupidity that you are doing. Oh, I thank you. I don't know how much to thank you. Yes. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you live. I don't know how you move daily, knowing that you have to go defend somebody on the wrong. But some of you, I think when the year end and they're doing these different awards and things like that, they should recognize you for sycophants of the century or of the decade. Some of you should get awards, especially Liberians who are supporting political leaders, especially some seditionists. Please, I will recommend that you get awards for the century or for the decade for sycophancy. They'll be written on the big sycophant of the year or sycophant of the decade or the century. You have done a good job at your age and what you know. You have done a good job for yourself. And I'm hoping that your children will grow to watch you make fool out of yourselves. I'm really hoping that. I'm hoping that they will see you and say that my man here or that my pa here. I really hope so. Because these things that you do, they're recorded. I really hope so. And let's see what will be the reaction to you. Let's see what will be the reaction to you. I really hope so. Some of you who shamelessly, on Thursday, before we open the line, let me give you a practical example or something. On Thursday, and we'll open the line for you to contribute. Some of you who have my numbers, or my number, or you already have the number here, you can start, you can start to place your call, whatever it is. Let me post the number, and I will take your call. And please, you have 1 minute each. Disclaimer. If you call, I don't answer your call because this line is not routed or is not structured as sickles to be able to, take more than one call at a time. It's not. He has to set it up. He has not set it up on my phone. So I take calls one at a time. So when I click over, more likely so your call will drop. So if I don't pick up your call, no worries. You'll be called back. Please. So we'll do it one at a time, 1 minute each. But let me make this point and we'll call in the next 1 or 2 minutes, please. The numbers are on the screen. Please don't write on here. Where's the number? Look on the screen. Look on your screen, please. So let me give you an example. On Thursday, Friday morning, I think either Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday morning because I know me and Chavina spoke. Thursday morning, early morning, I decided to drive my children to school. Now listen to the key word. I decided. And the reason I decided to do that because I have options. They could catch the bus or I could drive them. So just think about it. You are sitting in America. You are sitting in America. Think about it, especially those who are in America. We have those options to our disposal. Can you imagine? You have the option to drive your children to school or they can catch the school bus. You also have the option to make breakfast for them or they can have breakfast at school. Look at that kind of beautiful thing. Just look at that kind of beautiful thing. You have that option. Many of you who are sycophants, whether for the government or other people, and you know this is not truth. Many of you watch Heron Costa. Sometimes when he make his podcast, his son is in the back. He's driving him to school. Think about it. I want you to think about that first. That picture getting in your mind. And when I drove them to school, I stopped across the road, and they got down from the car, and I decided to walk them. I decided to walk them across to the campus. And as I was walking, something just clicked in my mind and said, wow, what if similar opportunities were provided to our children, to young Liberians in Liberia? Just think about it. Just think about it. Just what if? Just what if? And you know what made a free breakfast possible? You know what made these options with the bus and other things possible in the schools? You know what made it possible? Simple things made it possible.
How?
let me end the start quick, Mr. Khan, and then you can come in. So then you get. I don't want to lose my train of thought because
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just listening.
You know what made this thing possible? Because your tax money that you pay federally into the state, these monies are used for the right purpose or purposes. No one senator, no president, no representative, no governor dare take that money and put it in your pocket and buy Louis Vuitton bag for his wife, for his children, or send them out of country. Almost all the people you support that you're killing yourself for, they're children in Nine bro. And those of you who are on the ground, those of you who are here who know better, whether you support the government or you support government agents and other things, is that it's about time that you wake up. Wake up. Let's secure the future. Let's stop this thing. When it's wrong, it is wrong. I don't have to support George Weah before you agree with me that it is wrong. I don't. I don't have to support Joseph Boakai before you agree with me that it's wrong. You know how it feels? For me to carry my children to school and I know I can come back and sleep for 8 hours, knowing that they will be secure. Nobody will touch them. Nobody will violate them. Nobody will abuse them. I will go and pick them back up from school. Can you imagine? And this thing is possible in Liberia. It is possible if all of us were standing out. So that is my point to you. Mr. Alexander Thomas, I'm saying it here today. Today we only address the first question because of time. Tomorrow we'll continue on this topic because we have 3 other different points that we have to address. But I want to turn over to Mr. Kane. I want to turn over to Mr. Kane. Mr. Kane?
Yeah, don't turn over to me. I want to understand where you are first because
where we are now, we in situation we can handle.
What kind of situation again? Because when I came, because I was listening to the show, in my car while I was running, so I was not watching anything. But when I got here, somebody said, "You and Sekou, you're so obsessed with Costa." I don't even know why I said about Costa. I don't even can hear. Yeah, so I don't know where we are. What's going on?
So basically, we started the very first question, Mr. Kane.
Because I know exactly the topic, but I want to know exactly where you are. Then I can address you from now.
So the only question that we've addressed today, before I was going to open the line, was the fact that I was asking the question: is Mr. Alexander Cummings being targeted? So we try to establish that first, that he's being targeted, and then the question behind is why.
Okay.
So let me allow you to answer that question before we can take any call. What do you say? What do you think?
First of all, it is good to be here, and my people. The reason why I'm not here every day, I'm busy. I'm looking for the bar. I know they call it bar, right? I'm looking for the bar. That's why I lost. I'm busy doing my, my 1-2-1-2.
But Mr. Khan, how can you be looking for money when they put boss and we're on salary? Why are you looking for money?
Yeah, because the money too small. They need to give more money. They need to give more money. But on a serious note, I want to say thank you to you, Steve, to Telco for for keeping SKTV going, even though I am not being available for the most part. But yes, and also to our people, the people that I call silent majorities, and those people who are not silent. I want to say thank you to everybody for following SKTV as always. So yeah, when you ask me, I think this is something that we have said over and again, and I think it's good for commies. So if you ask whether or not commies is being targeted, of course, it is. It's an open secret. Everybody knows exactly what's going on. We all know that commies is being targeted by the government. But then the bigger question is why? Because he is the only threat to the government politically. He's the only one that is trusted. Not by the same old, thing people, but at least those who consider Liberia to be a nation that can change. People who think that the better days of Liberia stay ahead of us. He's trusted by those people, most of those people. And beyond that, I am not saying that definitely Cummings will be president or will be the president in 2023. But what I know for sure, the government have shown to us, to the Liberian people, that Cummings is the only problem. It's the only threat to George Weah re-election. So that's why they are trying to do everything to eliminate Cummings from the political process. And the good thing, when I say it's good for Cummings, not only level-headed Liberians are seeing as to how this government is not capable of running the country. Other people outside of America, outside of Liberia, and other people who are non-Liberians, but who have interest in the country, other people who are partners to Liberia, they know that this government is incapable, that the president is inept. So those people also believe that Liberia deserves somebody who will change the way things are done in Liberia, especially when it comes to corruption. It's comes to mismanagement of the country's money. When it comes to distribution of justice, when it comes to, running the government like any other developed country in the world. They know there's a need, there's a huge vacuum. So the people who are interested in that, when you see somebody speaking in that manner, or have similar or some record that resembles some level of transparency, accountability, they will look into that direction. And whether you like it or not, everybody knows that Cummings is not just anybody. Cummings is recognized by a lot of people. When I say a lot of people, not only corporate America, but also people in government. I'm not saying that Joe Biden government is supporting Azana Cummings. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, Cummings is not just anybody. So to just play with the man making like a toy or making like some of those little criminals that have been throwing each other, here and there. People are watching, people are listening. Every move, let me tell you, Steve, every move by this government is being watched, it's been analyzed, and every action they do, every action they take, people take different posture. Like if you take one action, they move from one position to another position. If you do one thing, it moves from one position to another. So in the end, this government will realize that they are shooting themselves in the foot, but it's going to be too late. What is clear is that the government is witch hunting Lieutenant Cummings. And also, what is also clear is that some within the opposition, they are working for the government to destroy the opposition. Many people thought it was about the CPP. Now that people say they are leaving the CPP, but yet they still don't want the opposition to survive. Why? Because they want the government to get, easy ride. But I can tell you, every time this thing goes on, every time community is targeted, every time community is subject to the discussion, it makes him popular. It makes him look like the only serious minded opposition. It makes him to look like the only challenge to this government. So it's good. They're not going to do anything to Cummings. Assuming that they arrest him today, they put him in jail. So why? He will die? No. Will that make him criminal? No. Everybody knows that this government is a criminal government. Everybody knows that Serena Sifa is a criminal. Everybody knows that whatever they are doing it just to stop him from running. It's political, so that's okay. In Africa, you cannot be a seasoned politician. If you look at history of Africa, many of the people who became president in Africa, they either went to jail or they were prosecuted for political reason. And that is exactly what's going on. So everything that they are doing right now, they are putting Cummings on track to be somebody, even to be president. Ellen Johnson went to jail. She went to Belayala. Alpha Conde, he went to jail. Nelson Mandela went to jail. A lot of leaders, presidents, they went to jail, not because they were criminals, but because the governments at the time saw them as threats to them. So they will fabricate stories upon story just to embarrass you, thinking that way. Let me tell you something, Steve. What they are doing it thinking that it will discourage the man, thinking it will make people to look at him the other way. But the more they forgot to know that the more they do this to Cummings, the more people who are supporting Cummings, will be emboldened. The more they do that, the more people will be encouraged. That when you see the people doing this one to them, man, they know that they will change things around. They know that they will be different from what they are doing. That's why they're doing it to him. So people that follow Liberia, that follow Liberian politics, and people who understand politics, they believe whatever they are doing right now, it is in the interest of Alexander Cummings. Why they don't care about other people? Because they don't see them as a threat. Why they don't care about Joseph Barker? They know Joseph Barker, they flogged Joseph Barker 2 times. They know Joseph Barker may not even run. He's old. He's not well. And he has no body behind him. He can only win Lofa. So they don't worry about that. They know even election is held today or tomorrow between Joseph Barker and what's his name? And Joe Weah. Joe Weah will win. They know that. But they are seeing the level, let me tell you something. The level-headed people, intellectuals, young people. Just look at the people that support Cummings and people that support Joseph Boakai and that of Weah. Majority of the people who are supporting Joseph Boakai, 2 reasons: trap and sectional solidarity, or their party affiliation. Because they made from our party, we will support him no matter what. Or because they made from our country, we will support him. But none of the supporter of Joseph Boakai will tell you or give you tangible statistics. Yes, indeed, this man deserves to be president. Here are the reasons why we think they make him be president. They're going to say the man has been around for a long time. Nothing else. No track record. They can use to say, yes, indeed, these are his accomplishments when he was vice president, whether for himself or for the country or for even the country that he's from. But people still support him because of why? The country affiliation, the sectionalism. That's why they support him. Or they made from the Unity UP party. So no matter what happened, ANC refused, the National Committee refused to support UP 2017. So no matter what happened, we will never support him. So let's support Joseph Boakai regardless. Up to the point where when Joseph Boakai say, hey, I'm not running anymore, then they'll start to find other political homes. Some of them, the majority of them will go to CDC. Many UP people would prefer supporting CDC to supporting just Lieutenant Cummings. But I can tell you, Steve, this is good for Cummings. The more you go through this, if he quit, then he's not a leader. But if he can withstand this rigmarole, all the nonsense going on, all the dirty stuff being thrown at him, if he can withstand it, definitely it will be a test for him. And that test will be something that can give him more relevance, even to the presidency. But yes, I think he's been targeted. He's been targeted, and it's not a secret, and it's by the government. And all he needs to do, continue to be resilient, continue to be steadfast, focus, and do what is right. Continue to speak to the Liberian people and never worry about what they are doing to him. Because the idea is to discourage him. The idea is to make him to look bad. The idea is to make him to look weak. Assuming that the poor comes in jail, so what? If they put in jail for political reasons, they only can't come better because they want to be president. They might didn't steal for anybody. He didn't do anything to anybody. But they are prosecuting him because he wants to be president. So yes, Cummings, let him continue to do what he's doing, not to be detailed or by any kind of nonsense they are doing. It's all distraction. It's all bullying. He should forget about it. He should focus. Even I think they will not do that, but even if they decide to put him in jail, he will get out. He should stand his ground. And before he gets to that point, everything he has, he must use it. When I say everything, I mean everything, anything. Whether it's finance, whether it's connection, whatever leverage he has right now, he must use it because you're dealing with criminals. And he can do anything to embarrass you or to get at you to do exactly what I want to do to him. So let he use everything within his arsenal and see what happened. But in the end, it's good for him.
So are you saying Mr. Cummings should fight back?
Not only him to fight back, but everybody supporting Cummings, citizens, even international community, everybody who thinks Cummings is the answer for Liberia should fight back. And they shouldn't fight back lightly. And if they shouldn't fight back lightly, they should fight with whatsoever they have. Those guys, they are resolved. They are resolved. And they're not afraid of trouble. That's criminals not afraid of trouble. even though they don't know the aftermath of whatever they are going through. Sometimes they can do some stuff without even paying attention to the repercussion, whatever going to happen afterward. But in the end, they can regret it sometime. But when they are doing it, they care less. So when you are fighting down, you shouldn't stop at anything. Do whatever you can, whatsoever you can. When I say whatsoever, it means there's no limit. Anything you can do to fight back, you should fight back.
So, but Mr. Kane, just before we open the line here, I understand what you're saying. I have two concerns. Number one, somebody could say, well, Mr. Kane hits the government and SKTV is pushing for, international community or Cummins to bring chaos in the country or riot. Somebody could interpret it as that. Can you please address that before I ask you I lay on my second concern? What do you say that?
Address what?
Can you please address the thought or the fact that somebody could say Sekou and SKTV by saying Mr. Cummins should fight back. They're trying to create chaos in the country. They want the international community to put sanctions on Liberia for Liberians to suffer. What do you say to those people who say that?
I would say to those people, they need to think again and follow our track record. Our fight is not about SKTV. Fight is not about Cummins. It's not about the government that we hate the government. It's about better Liberia. If you find yourself on the side of the truth, you would think we are supporting you. If you find yourself on the wrong side of history, then you would think that we are against you. We are not against anybody. And we are not for anybody. We are for Liberia. So whoever would think that way, they are at liberty to think the way they want to think. We have no control over how people think about us or whatever opinion they want to form against us. But what I can tell you, Steve, SKTV, we have said this before, even this government that we criticize most of the time, even if the government changed today and do what is right, I told you we can support our government. We can support this government. And so our fight here on SKTV is not about the government, it's not about Cummins. But when somebody is treated unfairly, what's his name? When injustice was perpetuated against
Bernie?
What's his name? No, Cabinet Janet.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about it all the way from start to finish. When the government tried to fight Dillon for exercising some level of transparency and accountability, or some semblance of transparency or accountability, when they were trying to just incriminate Dillon by all means in the area where Dillon was doing the right thing, we came up. We criticized the government a lot. And so many times, we have praised the government for doing what is right. For example, we have praised Sir Joseph for doing some of the humanitarian work he has been doing in the country. So we are not here to support an individual based on any connection or for any financial problem or issue. No, we got nothing to do with that. Our idea is about Liberia. Our focus is Liberia. What we want to see a better Liberia. So in short, Steve, whoever will have that mindset, or SKTV is against the government, or SKTV is supporting Cummins, that's their right to think the way they want to think. And that will not really change what we do. We are who we are. We will remain on the side of the truth. And we all want to see a better Liberia. Yes, indeed. The government is witch hunting Liberia, our Cummins. And our objective, Steve, is that whether it's Cummins or anybody in Liberia, we want to see a level playing field wherein everybody remain within their right, their constitutional right to exercise their franchise as a Liberian. Nobody should stop other person from running as they are doing to Cummings right now. If you think Cummings does not have what it takes to be president, campaign against him. Tell the Liberian people why Cummings is not qualified to be president. Tell the Liberian people why Cummings has not done X, Y, and Z in the country. Tell the Liberian people what you have done in the country as the government or as a political party. But you should not worry about who to run, who should not run. In America here, nobody fight to put anybody in jail. The people here, the fight is to fight for the vote, to make argument, to make compelling argument to see who argument people are going to buy. If you make a right argument, if it makes sense to the people will follow you, and they will support you. So let it open a level playing field wherein everybody can have the right, but not to witch hunt somebody because you see them as a threat. And that's what goes. So our job, we don't care really how people think about us. We do what is right. We do the right thing, and we do it for Liberia. So we care less about how somebody will think about us.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Thank you so much. The last question I wanted to ask you. A friend of mine posted something today, which I have to reference and I have to call out. Let me read what he said. This was an important point that he raised, and I commented on it. And this is not to justify anything, but let me read the post, and I want to ask you a question. And to all of our viewers and our listeners, I want you to please listen to this. This was from Jay Randy. This is what he posted this morning. It caught my attention, and I wanted to add it up to this conversation. 90% of Liberia's population is corrupt. Nothing can be done without working with them. That being said, corruption is endemic at every level of Liberian society, making Liberia one of the most politically corrupt nations in the world. As such, corruption is not specifically punishable. It's not specifically a punishable crime under the Liberian law, which further exacerbates the nature of corruption present in the country. For Alexander Cummings to get to the presidency of Liberia, he has to work with the corrupt people and system, but start to make the necessary changes as president of Liberia, including changing the corrupt people and system. I want to ask you a question, because this has been mind-boggling, where it seems most Liberians, especially those in the political atmosphere, would support or claim to support somebody if that person is on their side. Musa Belede, for 12 years, supported Elling. To United Party people, he was not corrupt. To other people, he was not corrupt. Musa Belede supported George Weah. To seditions, he was not corrupt. Do you think, based on what Jay Randy wrote, do you think Mr. Alexander Cummings can get to the presidency, or anybody can get to the presidency without working with the system and the people on ground, whether you term them as corrupt or as criminals or as killers or so forth? What do you think if you were to choose to just say, I will just go neutral and I will be the Mr. Change and I will not do this, I will not do that, I will not work with this? What do you think, Mr. Cannon? Because this is very complex and complicated.
Okay. Let me tell you this. You know, in Liberia, when you ask many Liberians, they will say, even, I'm not saying many Liberians, I'm talking about the so-called political gurus, people who think they are the one that runs the day-to-day activity of Liberia, even when they are not in power, even including those who are also in power. When you ask them, they say, communists don't understand Liberian politics. Communists don't know Liberian politics. Communist is now a typical Liberian politician. Communist is not this, communist is not that. That is the exact point. Yes, somebody or Alexander Cummings can become president, can be president of Liberia without going through the corrupt system, without going through the corrupt people. If you want to be a change, be a real change. You don't have to suck to those corrupt people because you just want to use it as an alibi to get to the presidency, then coming back to say you're going to come change them. It's not going to change. If you dare to do that, you might even end up losing the presidency or the so-called power that you have. So let me tell you, Steve, the only way, that's why a lot of people had problem with communists joining with those same corrupt-minded people. So those people who have problem with communists joining the likes of Boakai and Yuri, their departure from the CPP opens the door for other people who were on the fence. So, if I am communist, let me say this, or if I were advancing communist, anybody that will seem to be a symbol of corruption, anybody with some corrupt record, anybody that is corrupt-minded, I will not put you or bring you closer simply because I want to win. Win or lose. If you want to be the change, you want to be a change agent, you should represent the change that you're trying to show. Making sure that you disassociate yourself with every corrupt-minded people. It's not going to be 100% because you're human. But you will not see somebody who is corrupt, knowing that they are corrupt, but simply because you want to gain the presidency, simply because you want to gain a certain vote, you should support that person. For example, the idea of musability being accused of this or that. I'm yet to see musability being convicted or any document to see that musability was convicted with this corruption. But even as is, if communist thinks or if communist sees musability as a liability on him in terms of being corrupt, like I said, I'm not seeing any proof of musability being corrupt. I'm not seeing any conviction that musability is a corrupt-minded person. Everybody just saying it with their mouth, speaking with the two sides of their mouth. When you're supporting them, he's a good man. When you're not supporting them, he's a bad man. That's all I'm saying. But if communist feels that musability is a liability on him, if communist feels that musability joining him we kind of like muddy the water for him. The agreement with the Liberty Party, I'm not sure if it's about musability as a person. If it's gonna be Liberty Party collaborating with ANC, and for which they endorsed Mr. Cummings, there were 4 parties. Now that they have two parties in the collaboration, I will advise Mr. Cummings, whatever the case is, they shouldn't go back on the agreement. But what they can what they can do, or what they can make clear, is it doesn't have to be Musability. It doesn't have to be Harrison Conway. It doesn't have to be anybody. It could be anybody within the Liberty Party, because when you have a collaboration, somebody's coming in for the presidency, you cannot take the president and vice president for ANC if they have only two people in the collaboration. It has to be somebody from the Liberty Party. And if it can be Musability, let that clearly be defined and move on. If it can be anybody else within the Liberty Party, let them make it clear, okay, we want the Liberty Party to provide the vice presidential candidate. But you have a guideline. Whatever the guideline that will guide the process, whoever qualified from the Liberty Party perspective to be the vice president, that person be vice president. To me, it shouldn't be about Musability or anybody else. As long you agree to add somebody there from the Liberty Party, you can't get it both ways. ANC can get both presidential candidate and the vice. Somebody, it has to be the other party. So for me, it's two things. Say, hey, we agree with whatever you say. Bring anybody else, but because of S, Y, and Z, we don't want Musability. Or you say no. For us, we have not seen any criminal act or criminal conviction of Musability. If that's what the Liberty Party chooses for Musability to be the vice presidential candidate, that's what the Liberty Party want, take it and move on. You don't care about what your detractor will say. No matter, let me tell you something. Whoever will be the vice presidential candidate to Cummings, unless you bring angel from heaven, someone like him or me from Liberia, they will have something on him. They will have some negative to say about him. They will say some dirty thing about him or her. They will say some nasty thing. So to make it look like that's the worst thing in the world, no matter who you put on there. But Musability, if you think Musability is an asset, and you have no criminal record, like I've always said, so long you have no criminal conviction of somebody, you have no track record to say this person was convicted of X, Y, and Z to point to it. Everything you say about that person is just making yourself happy. But you have no ground. So, Steve, nobody should choose anybody because of just political expediency. If you think this person will be a liability, will be a tainted record, somebody with tainted record, that there will be a liability on your ticket, you don't have to take that person, because you want to change, will be a real change, not partial change. So whether it's Musability, whether it's anybody else, if Cummings want to choose somebody to be his vice president, let it come clear and let it come sooner rather than later. Whoever they will choose, let it choose the person. If it's going to be Musability, choose Musability and tell us why you think Musability is the best. And those who are saying Musability is criminal, let it come forward and tell us the criminal conviction of Musability or the criminal activity that Musability is engaged in. Convince us. And let Musability too come on and tell the public what he brings to the table. Whether you're going to be a liability or an asset to Cummings. Whether Musability adding on Cummings ticket will make Cummings like, okay, death sentence, you gone, your political career is finished. You added Musability to you. That'll make the judgment. But it's better to do it right now. Right now, not until tomorrow.
All right.
So to answer your question, Comey should be able to be Comey. He shouldn't care about what people are saying. So long he want to be the agent of change, let it be for a real change. You should not bring anybody on him that will be a liability on him simply because you want to get a vote. Because Steve, there are a lot of young people. Who can support or who could support Cummings. If Cummings just go straight and be who he is and speak about change in a real way and make people understand exactly what he means by change, and also show people not only to say it, but the how, to explain to the people how he's going to change things around. People are listening. People are watching. There are a lot of young people, a lot of educated people will follow him. You don't have to go suck behind all the people that who are already. Let me tell you something. The fight against communists right now is a system, and you know that. And that system is the same corrupt system that all the people there they are part of. All the other people there they are part of it. Let me tell you something, Steve. In Liberia, who can even talk about cleanliness when you can support Charles Taylor for president? About how many percent? Who can talk about cleanliness when you voted for Charles Taylor's wife for vice president? Almost 62%. What kind of cleanliness in Liberia? So if Cummings want to be clean, just go strictly exactly what he wants to do. What kind of Liberia he wants? Get people on board that will represent such a change, but not just anybody simply because they want to vote. Liberian people, they will only speak of ill when it's not from them or from somebody that they are part of. You know, on this platform many times, when a lot of people supporting, okay, for example, somebody say, I will let to mention Costa, and I let to mention Costa, especially when you're talking about opposition. There are a lot of people now supporting Joseph Boakai, not because they know that Joseph Boakai is capable of doing anything, not because they don't know that Joseph Boakai is sick, not because they don't know that Joseph Boakai has some judgment problem, not because of any good thing, but simply because Costa said it. They will follow him because Costa supports Joseph Boakai. So they too have to support Joseph Boakai. You see? So those are the kind of people that you have. They don't have mind of their own. They are followers, and they were born to be followers. And they're going to follow whoever that will convince them. So they don't care about who you put on the ticket or you don't put on the ticket. Even, let me tell you, right now, some Costa supporters, right? If Costa says to them, Musability is the best person in the world, let's support him. Everything they say about Musability is a lie. You know, people hate him. When people hate you, they do this, they do that. They will follow him. They will say, yeah, that's true. Musability is a good man. You saw the thing. When you switch to support Jowea, they say, yeah, that's true. Costa is right. You know, Costa just want to give him a chance. When you say Jowea is bad, you say, yeah, Costa is right. Jowea is very, very bad. When you say Boakai that sleepy Joe Boakai have no idea Boakai is a troublist, they say that's true. Boakai is troublist. Boakai got nothing. Boakai is dead man walking. They say that's true. When you make it, you say, no, the man, okay, nothing wrong with the man. They say, yeah, that's true. Nothing wrong with the man. So those are the kind of people that you're dealing with. They got no sense. Their brain is being completely controlled, remotely controlled by other people. The man said on his show, my people, and when I show anybody that was support, yeah. And when I tell you, put your help, and when I support any party that way person was support, yeah. I support anybody that person was support, yeah, except for Jowea, yeah. They say that's true. So they got no mind of their own. They got no brain to think. Whatever you say, whatever the person they follow, whatever that person tells them, that's what they follow. So if you're dealing with people like that, don't make decisions on what they think. Just do what is right. Just do what represents the change that you want to bring to Liberia. Do not worry about those people. Because you know what? Whether it's most ability, unless you bring somebody or injured from heaven, that's the only time or Jesus Christ himself. Other than that, anybody else you bring, they will have something to say about it. So it doesn't matter.
Well, I think even if you were to bring an angel or Jesus, the first thing they'll tell you why they in politics, they will be Christian or religious people.
Exactly.
So, thank you, Mr. Canning. We are over the hours mark. Sorry, we couldn't permit you to call. Tomorrow you will call. We have to call it a day here. We've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes. We normally go for 2 hours. Yes, Evelyn Hill, to answer your comment, most of the crustaceans, whether old, young, small, big, fat, don't have minds of their own.
That's true.
I'm saying it, and I agree with 70%.
And not only that, let me add to it. Most people who will have no mind of their own to make decision, or to even they can be looking at the truth, but they want somebody to tell them, say they can be looking at something white, but they want somebody to tell them, say it's blue. And when you tell them blue, then they believe it. You have no mind of your own, and that means you are even stupid. To make it even clearer, that means you are very, very stupid. You got no brain. Or if you have a brain, your brain size is like a peanut. You have nothing. You do not have the ability to even process anything. Other than that, nobody got to tell you when the water is hot or it's cold. When you're feeling it. But you can be holding a hot water. Somebody might say, no, this is the cold water. You say, yeah, that's true. Because Sekou say it. That means you have no brain. Yes, I'm saying it. Majority of you people who follow people and just disagree with everything, when they lie, you say, yeah, that's true. When they say the truth, when they see the truth, they say, no, they want another truth that lie. They say, yeah, okay, that's you just a follower. That means you have no brain. That means God just created you for nothing, to be a follower. And I'm not going to miss my word on that. That's just the truth. That's how I feel about you. Most of you people.
So we agree that we'll allocate 5 minutes. Let's get 5 minutes. Call in. You have 5 minutes. The number is up there. Call in. After 5 minutes, don't call in. We'll give the number up there. Yeah, the number is up there. So call in. The number on the screen.
Oh, the one. Okay. Okay, I'll tell you a number. Okay, yeah, that's good, man. So that way I don't have to even bother with number of calls here.
Yeah, so 5 minutes. Evelyn, we honor your request. Evangeline Hill, we honor your request. Call in. You say, oh my, give 5 minutes, you need to call. I need a boss lady here. So today,
who is Evangeline Hill?
Evangeline Hill, the boss lady, she points in, we don't get here today. So we go back. Yeah, at the boss lady. So I'll be here myself, 5 minutes. All right, there's a call coming in. I think it's coming from Michigan.
Yeah,
caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello? 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 Okay, that caller is not answering. I don't know what's going on. You caller, you can call back. Hello? Yes, caller, where anyone you calling from, please?
Hey, this is Ben calling from Minneapolis. How are you?
Yes, on call Seditian Ben. What's going on? What your input? 1 minute. 1 minute, quick.
Okay. So my only problem that I have with the memorandum that I was talking about when he was on Spoon TV, was the fact that it made mention of certain things that they wanted, and then there were certain things that were allocated to their party, and certain things were being allocated to ANC. To me, that's exactly mimic the same reason why the first framework was not accepted by the Liberian people, because they say more like that. Again, they were putting their parties before the Liberian people. For me, that was the only thing that I saw a little scary. But yes, indeed, if it was just like the baby slot that they were talking about, that is fine. But this idea about, this one will be allocated to our party, I don't think that was offering
Thank you.
well to the Liberian people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Hi, my name is T. I'm calling from New Jersey.
Yeah, T. Can you please lower your monitor in the back?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, what's your input?
Yeah, Stephen, Sekou, I'm calling, how you guys doing? Okay. So this is the whole thing. I agree with what Sekou said, and also I agree with you. You know, in life, I know change is hard. Nobody must say change is easy. But if Liberia is so corrupt, like we all saying that we want change, you understand? And with what's going on with Musability, I mean, that I saw the letter bodies. I don't see nothing that what he said won't be for us, but they discuss it fine. But if we say we want change, and as the men doing everything, they all doing everything, and then right now, Musability, the party asks and say, well, we want vice president position. It's not the same greediness we're talking about, the same greed. We're talking about you want everything before we take care of the people that we say we will have. And with the CPP, they mentioned in the CPP, I didn't think Alexander Coleman knew these people were going to be like this when he joined the CPP, because we all saw when they came together. I think they were doing it for the betterment of the country and to save the Liberian people from under this government. Unfortunately, it turned the other way. And the advantage what Sekou talking about, these people want to take advantage of it, man, because the thing is, he left like Brian was saying, he don't know about the politics, so we're pointing through that, and he get tired and quit. If I were here, I wouldn't quit. I would see it to the end. Win or lose, let's finish the race. You know what I'm saying? Because in life, you cannot be a quitter. If you're a quitter, then I mean, you're ready for what you say you're coming to do. So let him see it. Sarina people, we all know. Sarina people don't know the law. I don't care whether he's the only lawyer, he's the lawyer, he's the prosecutor, he is everything. So I don't know, what law he practiced, but he interpreted it a different way. And for the man to travel again, to approve of it, he said no. So all of these things, he's being targeted. I agree with that man being targeted. They're trying to frustrate him, but he no quit. But we all who stand here, who want better for Liberia, who want change, we're standing with Alexander Coleman. He might not change, he might not quit. Now he's finished the race. And he went fine. At least he tried.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for all of us, if we stay here this happy, it's going to happen to you and I. We can go to that very country. We'll be penalized for leaving the country. So if that's now before we came here, opportunity given to us, we want to get back and say, oh no, you can't come because you left to just stay here with us. All of us can stay there. Somebody got to leave to come out with change. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. Well, let me call this one caller back, Mr. Connor, and then that's it. This will be the last caller for today, and we'll go from there.
While we with that caller, Steve, let me tell you something. Even Musability right now, all the people are calling Musability criminal, this, that, blah, 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 because Musability is now on their side. When Musability is with them, he's not a criminal. But Musability is on the other side, then he's a criminal. So these people, you don't have to worry about them. They themselves are criminals. They themselves are corrupt, even in their thinking. So just do what is right. You got a caller?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
My name is Vivian. I'm calling from Michigan.
Your name is who?
Vivian. I'm calling from Michigan.
Okay, Vivian. What's your input?
Well, I agree with the previous caller, and we all know that CPUS is just on a witch hunt with Mr. Cummings. We just need him to stop. We need him to stop. This is shameful. This is really embarrassing for our government, and we need him to stop. I can give a disclaimer. I'm a Cummings supporter, but it's not only because of that. Liberia needs to do better. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your input. All right, Mr. Kane, I think we can leave it here for today. Let me give the announcement for tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be on. We have not even touched on the second part of this question or the third question, whatever it is, if Black Eye and Youngblee should take the stand, because evidently that's where Serena Seaford seemed to be pushing us. Tomorrow we'll discuss that. We'll also discuss tomorrow.
And again, still, let me tell you something. Since we're going to discuss that tomorrow, I will just leave some. But just let me give you a little bit, just a little tip of what we'll talk about tomorrow. Even if Buaka, Yombly, and all of them testify against Commies in the court, that will only prove that how much all of them are willing to work with the Liberian government to destroy the opposition. But that doesn't mean in any way, shape, or form that Cummings is a criminal. No. Those people have shown openly that they have done everything, that they are against Cummings. They even destroyed the fabrics of the opposition to destroy the hope and aspiration of the Liberian people simply because they want to see Cummings destroyed. So what people are going to say in court that will surprise you? You think they're going to come there and say good thing that will vindicate Cummings? That's nothing. So people are making it look like, I saw somebody written say, at the end of the day, Wakai and the UP people, they will testify against Cummings. So definitely, eventually, Cummings will be convicted. That's the nonsense. All these things are pre-planned. So even if they come, it will not be a surprise. If they don't come, it will not be a surprise. This government is on a mission. You're using certain individuals, corrupt-minded individuals, to come and help them in their corruption. So, but Buakai or Yombly coming to help this government to continue to perpetuate their corrupt action against Cummings. That doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. And why will you be surprised? People who allow to sell their integrity, to let the entire country down, simply because they want to see Cummings going down. They don't put them go and testify. Will that surprise you? It will only even, in fact, it will only embolden Mr. Cummings to prove that Cummings is the only opposition. That all the other people there are followers and enablers of the government.
Okay.
So, but we'll dig deeper in it tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, we will. We'll dig deeper tomorrow, like you said. Today we want to close the show. Thank you so much, Mr. Kane. Thanks for your calls, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be on tomorrow for sure. We'll have one or two guests as well in collaboration with me and Mr. Kane. And we'll have a lengthy discussion. So Mr. Kane will be one of our guests tomorrow, Sekou Kane. This is an open invitation. He will be one of our guests tomorrow, and we'll be picking his brains on different topics and so forth. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve.
Whoever is Pay Edward, I'm not sure what kind of documents you're putting on here. Please thank you. Let me go look for my friend. My friend Terry abandoned me today, but let me look for my new friend.
Lump.
Find a friend like me. If you not want betrayal, find a friend like me. Find a friend like me. Find a friend like me. If you not want betrayal, find a friend like me.
Bombe oh, find a friend like me. Bombe jene oh, find a friend like me. Bombe, find a friend like me. A friend like me.
Hey, see bestie. Your bestie not sweet like my bestie. Your bestie la bestie. Find a friend like me.
I say, see bestie wanting to wealthy. Find a friend like me. I hear them say they want me go. I say
But they say they want me go.
I say
Some friends yelling like oh. Some friends yelling like oh. là ma bestie. The bestie da la bestie. Soyez friendly.
I say, see bestie, wanting to happy. Fire friend, let me. Okoro. They won't step on my blessing, but God get it breaking, yeah. Okoro. They won't call it my blessing, but God get it breaking, yeah. Okoro.
Frenchie, see Frenchie. Can't see Papa T Frenchie. And I want